Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 181 for Tuesday, the 3rd of October 2023. I'm your host Mark Webb, gamertag PSNID, SteamID, Webby, 360G, and joining me this evening is...
Oh, just me, Sensei Switch.
Just Darren, just me and thee this evening.
Mm-hmm.
The two gentlemen talking about video games. It's all good, man. It's
What,
all
the
good.
yin and the yang?
That's it, mate, yeah. The only two regulars every week without fail, we're both here, aren't we? Ready to talk video games. All is good. Indeedly do. So, I've had quite a good gaming week, Darren, to be honest. I don't know about you. I've done quite a bit of gaming.
Reasonably okay, yeah. Fitted a few things in.
Nice. So, I'm going to start off with a game that I think I mentioned I completed it last week. But I went back and I put about another 10 hours into it just to get to the true ending. And that game is Sea of Stars. So, yeah, so I finished it, and then I found out online that there was a true ending. But, go on.
No, I just went that.
There's a true ending. However, I mean, I enjoyed doing most of the stuff. You had to do like a load of the side quests, a lot of secret things, which I had to use a guide for. But the one thing that was a real ball ache was there's these collectibles around the whole world. There's 60 of them. They're called rainbow conches. And no fucking clue where any of them are. So I had to use a walkthrough guide to go and get them all. And it took me fucking hours and hours just to get them all. And that's with a walkthrough. So, I mean, it's a fantastic game, but my only moan is they've locked the true ending behind a fucking collectibles, you know? And I hate it when games do that bullshit.
Kind of a bit weird, yeah. I mean, do they have some sort of story relevance that makes that?
Not really. So basically, when you finish the game, you can go back into it, and there's this area where it opens up a portal to do a thing. I'm not going to say any more about that. But to unlock the pool, it's got these 6 different kind of things around it which you need to light up. So doing different things, each one lights up, and one of them is getting all 60 of these fucking collectibles. Ugh. So annoying, mate. But I did it. I did it this morning. Finally finished it this morning. And then you get, so the final boss is a different boss. Which was really cool, but it took me like proper old school RPG style over an hour. That fucking boss fight was, man, absolutely insane.
You having to restart it, or just the actual fight went on for that long?
Just long as fuck, because because he's hard as balls, having to constantly heal and has a certain move that takes you down to like 1 health and all this bullshit, It was really tough, but I managed to do it. Really enjoyed it because the true ending is the actual ending itself is really good, and I just wanted to do it because I'd seen it on YouTube anyway. But I was like, well, I've got to do it myself,
What would you have done if you'd have gone all through that for the true ending, and then you find out it's just like a dog operating a computer or something?
I know. Well, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but if you are playing it or thinking of playing it, once you finish it, it opens up you can do 2 things. You can do a new game plus, or reload your last save in this clear save file, and then you can do other things to unlock the true ending. Definitely do it. It's so worth it. However, I just thought it was a bit weird because I didn't know. When you finish it, it shows you that portal area, but it doesn't say anything else. So the ending I got was like, oh yeah, I finished it, and then as I say, I only found out that there's a proper ending, a true ending about just under a week after I finished it. So that's why I went back to it.
I actually give them a little bit of kudos because the game is a throwback in itself to old school games.
Yes, and that's why I love it.
Obviously, old school games did that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where like certain things wouldn't be known or found out until someone had actually done it, and more often than not, that would spread through word of mouth. You might have read something on Game Facts back in the early days of the internet.
Yeah.
And that was the only way you'd know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, as I say, it's really worth doing. However, I was thinking to myself, if they did a sequel, and that's a big if, because I don't know if they will or not, but like, all those people that never did the true ending, like, they would be really confused. That's all I'm going to say, because it changes quite a big part of the story. Yeah. So, interesting. But yeah, it's a fantastic game, mate. Absolutely. It's definitely one of my favourite games of the year. Really, really is. It's just, I've had so much fun with it. And, and it's not, and I don't generally go back in games to do like secret endings or just anything extra at all these days. I normally just can't be asked. But with this, I was like, I've got to do it. I just had this urge, and yeah, absolutely well worth it, man. Really, really was. I just absolutely enjoyed it. So it helped. I played it on the Steam Deck 99% of the time, because like when I'd like dropped Marcus off at football the other day, I had like a walkthrough guide on my phone while I was playing it in the car. And things like that. Even though this morning I actually finished off the game on my PC on the big screen, just because I was at home and that was available. So yeah, but yeah, fantastic game. If you're a lover of the old school JRPGs, you'd absolutely love this game. It's just magical. It's a magical game. It really, really is. I just had a smile on my face for the majority of the time I played it, apart from the couple of annoyances, aka trying to get all the fucking collectibles and shit. But apart from that, fucking loved it, mate. It was really, really good. So, yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me if it doesn't win sort of like indie game of the year or something.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's up there on my actual game of the year lists, mate. So much I've absolutely loved it. There's a toss-up between a couple of games at the minute for my game of the year. So we'll see how that goes come December.
Like Vampire Survivors was one of my games of the year last year, and that looks like it was like made about 30 years ago.
Yeah. So, because it's not all about graphics and shit like that. It's about your own enjoyment of games, right? That's what your personal game of the year, which is why most people's is different, right? I mean, I remember go back a few years and Collins was a fucking mobile phone game,
That's what it's always been. That's why I always laugh on Twitter when someone's like, oh, I really like this game, and then you'll just get loads of people jumping all over and go, oh, fucking shit, mate. And it's just like, yeah, but they enjoy it. That's fine. Leave them alone. Like, you don't. That's the way it should work.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I just find that a little bit odd when people are like.
I think it's younger people. I think when you're younger, that you feel like you have to validate everything more. Whereas when you're older, you just get to that point of like, I don't give a shit what you say, mate.
Yeah.
Bye. Like your opinion doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I agree. So absolutely loved it. I thought it was, as I say, absolutely fantastic game and well worth it. So nothing else I can say. I've been banging on about it the last few weeks, really. And as I say, it's on Game Pass, it's on PlayStation Plus. Most people that are listening have got one of those services. Got no excuse.
I think it's on every platform as well, isn't it? Isn't it on the Switch as well?
Yeah. To buy, you can get it on every platform, as I say, like if you've got PS Plus or Game Pass, you're not paying anything extra to play it, are you? So, those people have got no excuses.
But then again, do feel like? What did you buy? Did you bought it on Steam? I take it, or did you game
Well,
pass
I
it through Steam?
kickstarted it.
Oh, that's fair enough. So you feel like you've paid the developers for the work.
Oh
anyway,
yeah,
so.
yeah. My name's in the credits. I found my name in the credits, and I put a picture in the Discord. So, yeah, man, absolutely love it. But that's not the reason I love it. It's just I think it's a fucking good game, you know. So yeah, I'm really pleased. Really pleased. So yeah, I see stars. People, get on it. Do it now. What about you then, Darren? Anything interesting this past week?
I'll actually talk about a new game.
What?
Last week.
Excellent.
Very, very mixed experiences with it to start off with. As you can probably attest, Webby, in the little group, I was having a right old moan.
Oh, yes.
So it's Fate Samurai Remnant, which is a game, obviously, in the Fate series, which is a pretty cool concept of basically magicians that are known as masters and noble spirits who are basically heroes of Eld throughout history. So they could be King Arthur, they could be like Gilgamesh, they could be like Francis Drake, Joan of Arc, all those kind of things. And basically you've got the master and the servant, and it's a big tournament that kind of goes on between a selection of these people. It's like a fight to the death, and the last two standing get their wishes granted, which could be for basically almost whatever they want.
Okay.
And this is a version of the game made by, I think it's a Mega Force, the people behind the Dynasty Warriors games. Let me just double check. I know it's definitely Koei Tecmo, but I'm not too sure if it is a Mega Force. It is a Mega Force. Good stuff. So it's got like obviously slight hack and slash elements in it, but one of the main aspects is obviously the fights between the summoned spirits.
Okay.
And it's really well presented. It's probably the first Omega Force game that's actually had an official stroke like PS5 version.
Okay.
So obviously the game's really nice. One of their previous games I really wished which was Samurai Warriors 5, which looks fantastic. It's got that same kind of cel-shaded art style and everything to it, but unfortunately it's only in kind of like 1080p. And having that kind of game brought up to say 1440 or higher would be fantastic, because it obviously gets rid of a little bit of the jaggies here and there that you occasionally get on those kind of games, and because they're drawn style, it obviously looks way better. Yeah. But yeah, this is one of the first games that obviously supports like the newer hardware and everything, and visually it's fantastic for what it is. It started really horrendously though, in the fact that it chucks you into a classic tutorial, which is perfectly fine, but then throws you into a fight against one of these summoned spirits that you cannot beat.
Oh, for fuck's sake, how annoying.
So it's one of those pointless fights
where
you can't win. As you're introduced to that character, you get a cutscene. And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to fight the guy for a while, and then he'll jump to the centre of the area and do like a big AoE you can't avoid, knock you down to 1 HP, triggering another cutscene. Except when I first started the game, it glitched and he never did that.
Oh, right. Odd.
So, and because he's obviously way more powerful than you, die in like 3 to 4 hits.
Oh, how annoying.
So I was literally sitting there with game over, retry, game over, retry, just going on for about 10 minutes. So the first time I actually played it, I turned it off infuriated, because it just wouldn't let me win and beat this guy. Yeah. And I went on the internet and looked up a video thing, and then like I noticed you're supposed to do this cutscene thing, and I was like, oh, right, yeah, that's great. Went in the following day, because I didn't want to boot the game up that day, because I don't know whether you've ever had it where you have a really annoying time with a game and you just don't really want to put it back on, because you know it's going to annoy you. Because I obviously had to go through like the earlier tutorial stuff again before you get to that actual part of the fight. Put it on, I got past all that point, I was in chat with a friend yesterday whilst doing it, and got past that, then got into like a bit where I could actually save the game, because this is kind of an annoying thing with certain Japanese games. You just like just let me save the game, please. So I went through all this section, which was playable, and every time it's like, you can't save the game right now, because obviously it's still technically part of the introduction. Went through all that, never struggled with any of the battles past that point, and there's like a really cool battle that culminates with two people heading off against each other, and then a third party comes in and all hell breaks loose, and it's like really well done with the cinematics and everything like that. I then proceeded to sit there for about 30 to 35 minutes just thumbing my way through fucking dialogue and cutscenes.
Oh, fun.
With no save points or anything in between. And I just thought, do these people not realise people haven't just got time to sit there just doing this shit? Like, at least in some games, like we'll say Final Fantasy XIV, it warns you before you go into something where it says, like, you're about to watch a load of cutscenes. Please make sure you've got enough time set aside, rather than someone thinking, I'll play this for half an hour, I'll have a blast, I'll be fine. And then realising that they're not getting anywhere near before they either have to turn the game off or just leave the game paused while they fuck off out for like an hour or so.
Yeah. To
do something. And that is a big annoyance I find with Japanese games. Like the classic inability of actually just let someone save it. And because it was jumping from cutscene to cutscene, so it was obviously going through all the cutscenes with this character, and then it would switch to another party, into another cutscene of waffle, and back to me again for more waffle. And I just thought, even some of the earlier games would allow you to save in between cutscenes.
Yeah.
But this didn't. So anyway, getting all that shite first sort of like half hour to an hour of the way out the game, actually sort of played more of it today and got more into it today, and it's pretty damn good. You actually get kind of like an open area of like one of the starting town that we're in, and you can run around exploring it a little bit. You've got shops, you can pet cats and dogs, fight groups of bandits to level yourself up a little bit. There's like another part where you'll walk into a certain zone and like monsters spawn.
Yeah.
Because of obviously the magic and stuff going on around it, like draws evil spirits to certain areas, and you can obviously fight them. You can upgrade your character with ability points. You can learn new magics. You can equip different items to your sword, so you can have like a new blade, a new sheath, the hand guard and stuff, and each one of those you equip has different effects and does different stat bonuses and such on it as well. Nice. And I think I know that at one point you can go around and you can collect more than the actual noble spirit that you've got with you, who is generally Saber. It's always Saber as that, because they're all classed Lancer, Saber, etc., etc., Rider. But they're usually different spirits from each different season. But what makes this one more interesting to me than some of the other ones is this one's kind of set way back in like the samurai era, whereas most of them that I've seen recently or within the last years or whatever it's been going have generally been in the modern era.
Oh, okay.
So yes, kind of worth checking out if you like the Warriors games and everything like that, but I'll look up reviews and stuff and just know that there is a little bit of annoyance at the beginning with the typical Japanese cutscene waffle.
Yeah.
Etc.
Sort of games always have all that, don't they?
Yeah. That whole thing though with the unwinnable boss thing, it's like I find that just such an annoying trope, because it's like
loads of games do that.
You have a cutscene into an unwinnable fight, into another cutscene, and you just think, well, just do it all as a fucking cutscene.
Yeah.
just kind of pointless and annoying. Because you've all played games at some point before where you're fighting an enemy in a game and you just think, oh my god, I'm hardly doing any damage at all here, and you get hit once and you're like, Jesus wept.
Yeah.
And you just instantly in your head like, oh, I'm not supposed to win this, am I?
Mm-hmm.
Why is this here then?
Yeah. Definitely. I know what you mean.
So yeah, I'll chuck that on the old tropes that need to die in games.
Yeah.
But I'm thoroughly enjoying the game now. It's actually got going.
Good.
And I've heard people that have actually played it and reviewed it have kind of like really enjoyed it as well. Because it's slightly different from their usual sort of Warriors stuff. It is far more sort of story based, and you're not charging onto a battlefield with like thousands of warriors to cut down. Even though that would be pretty awesome if you could actually do that as well. Because I do love those games.
Yeah. Cool, man.
So, yeah.
That sounds interesting. Cool. Well,
yeah, it's on the Switch, the PC, and PS5. For some reason, it's not on Xbox, and I don't know why.
It's probably too Japanesey for Xbox gamers.
Well, sort of, but they got Wo Long and stuff, so
yeah,
that
true.
company is definitely not adverse to putting titles on the thing. And to be honest, I'm sure if they literally said, look, we don't expect this to sell very many copies on Xbox, but if you want to put your hand in your pocket and maybe throw it on the Game Pass or whatever, then that's an option. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Oh, mate. Well, I've been getting excited for Forza because it's out. Early access is out Thursday, and I've paid for the early access already.
Oh, it's another shitty early access thing, is it?
Yeah, so it's actually out next week.
It's becoming such a horrible normalcy.
Yeah, I think it's out the 10th, but for early access it's the 5th, so I'm getting excited.
You know what? It is something really funny, yeah?
Go on.
There's a game company out there is for the last 10 years with an MMO where if you pre-order the game, any version of the game, you get early access.
Okay.
It's Final Fantasy 14. Every time you pre-order the new expansion or the game, you got like 3 to 4 days access to it early.
Yeah.
Even though technically it's not specifically early access, it's called early access because it's obviously like server testing and all that kind of stuff going on. But everyone gets it. It's not just for people who buy the super expensive edition. And everyone basically gets the same thing with it as well. It's not like someone's going to get a bonus load of like digital shit on top of it, or whatnot. But yeah, it's just.
So I only did it because you get the car pass, so you get drip fed new cars every month.
You have Ultimate anyway, don't you? So you
that's what it is.
In for it. Yeah. So yeah, it's obviously understandable. But I have noticed it is creeping in more and more and more nowadays with like all sorts of games.
Yeah.
Where I can't think of a main game that pretty much almost hasn't released that doesn't seem to have this shitty practice thrown in. Like Diablo had it, Starfield had it, that's got it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Baldur's Gate had it as well.
I have no idea.
And also, what it does is it fucks over certain customers who want to buy certain editions of the game, in my opinion.
You just have to wait an extra few days.
Yeah, but it's technically, I don't even think it should be called early access, to be perfectly honest, because if the game's out on that day, it should be out on that day.
But anyway, I'm getting excited for it because I haven't had a Forza game in years. And so I've been on a little bit of a driving kick. So I played a little bit of the Crew Motorfest this week. Still really enjoying it. I think it's a really good game. My Uplay Plus runs out in about a week. So I'm just trying to make the most of it because I won't be renewing. So yeah, been playing that. It's fucking good. Also been playing some iRacing as well this week. Because that again runs out in about a week, and I won't be renewing
that. The one with the
monthly fee,
isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm still enjoying that because it's super serious. So you got to really be in the mood for that. So did a few races on that this week. I've been playing a couple of others, but one that's really impressed me this week is I've been playing quite a bit of another game called Automobilista 2. Now, this game's been out a few years anyway. I think it's about 2 or 3 years old. It's PC only, but it's a sim racer. It's semi-serious, I'd say. And I've played it a few times.
Played the original one a fair bit.
Oh, nice. So I played it a few times with Venom and Laffer in the past. Thought it looked good and played good, but never really gave it too much more thought until this week. I was like, I fancy just boo-booing it up again because I haven't played it for ages. And I swear to God it's had an update because I did GT... Did the GT cars on Nürburgring, which is my favourite track, Nordschleife. Great track, best track in racing games. I would personally say, absolutely love it. Lots of fun memories on that track on the old Project Gotham games, etc., and the old Forzas. Anyway, I set up some races on Nordschleife with the AI. I was like, fucking hell, the graphics are fucking well good. Like, you get right up the arse of the other cars, and it looks visually fucking amazing. I was like, have they updated this? I don't remember it looking this good. Just the handling and all that, I was just like, wow, this is super awesome. So yeah, I really enjoyed playing that. Really good game to play. Yeah. So, and the other racing game I played is Gran Turismo 7, because it's kind of simcade, and obviously Forza's coming out. It's just kind of like I wanted something a bit more simcadey to play, and I just did just some Nürburgring races, just some cafe races and that, and yeah, it's enjoyable, man. Just with the controller. But the reason I've
been playing it around my friend's house.
Oh, have you?
He's got like the steering wheel and pedals set up.
Nice.
It's definitely enjoyable. I'm gonna have to at one point take my PSVR 2 headset down there so I can try it out in VR with the steering wheel and pedals.
Oh my god, that would be super immersive. Yeah. I do like GT7. I think it's a good game. Obviously, it's not super realistic, but the fun factor is definitely there especially when you're using a wheel, because it has the right balance of feeling. And it's just a fun game. I mean, I've spent over 100 hours on that easy, just playing it online with the boys. Really enjoyed it. I think it's an enjoyable game. But one of the reasons why I got into it again this week is because I watched the Gran Turismo movie.
Decent.
It's really good. And I was thinking to myself, it's going to be shit, because normally game movies are shit, aren't they? But this is actually taken from a true story, apparently, where they basically had a competition, and the winner of all these sim races got a drive in real cars. So it's kind of going through the story of this one guy who is actually, I think he's still racing. But yeah, it's really, really interesting because it's got some good actors, and it's got the guy, the cop from Stranger Things in it. What's his face name? Yeah, he's in it, and I don't recognise. It's got Jerry Halliwell in it as the mum.
Weird.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, mate, is it? Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's a really good film. It's done really, really well. It blends like the game and the actual car racing really well. Definitely worth a watch, because I went in with really low expectations and come away with, thinking, fuck me, this is really, really good. So yeah, definitely recommend it, even if you're into racing car games or not. It's just a really good movie. So definitely worth a watch. So yeah, Yeah, so I've been playing a little bit of GT7, and with a controller because I would normally play it loads with the wheel, but my PlayStation's downstairs at the minute. And I've been playing it with the controller, and that PlayStation controller feels fucking amazing on it. Just with the force feedback and all that.
Mm.
So yeah, I've been playing a little bit of the PlayStation this week because my boy was like, "Dad, I want to play some of these games," and obviously I let my PlayStation Plus lapse a few months ago, so I just signed up to 1 month just to appease him, just so he could have some games to play. So,
does that disable all the online functionality for Forza then?
the Gran
Can you
Turismo.
not access anything, or in Gran Turismo? Sorry.
No, you can still play the game, so all the single player races and the story and stuff.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
decent then, at
yeah.
least.
You just can't obviously do any of the online racing at all. So, yeah. But I mean, that's not the reason I signed up to PS Plus. Is because I was happy just doing the single player racing and that. But now I've got it, I might do a couple of the daily online races before Thursday. But yeah, man, it's I do like a good racing game, and I think like just when you're hyped for a new one coming out, I don't know, I just found that's all I would just really want to play, just to scratch that itch. So yeah, I've been doing just quite a lot of online, well, just quite a lot of racing games this past week. As I've mentioned, quite a few there. So
it does help when you watch certain films. It just gets you in the mood. Like whenever I used to watch, obviously back in the day, like Fast and the Furious or something, I'd be like, "Oh, I've got to put on Need for Speed or Burnout."
Yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah. Because we watched that movie, and then it finished at like 11 at night, and then I was like, right, I'm going to play some Gran Turismo. I didn't stop playing it till about 1 in the morning. No. Yeah, it was quite funny, really. But yeah, it's been yeah. That's it for my racing games, anyway. Yeah, man. All good. Anything else from you, Darren? Anything at all?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
I took a big visit back to Night City this week. To experience obviously what the 2.0 update had to offer, and I did dip my feet into Phantom Liberty as well, the new expansion for Cyberpunk 2077, and
awesome.
I have to say I am thoroughly impressed.
Yes.
With everything, I'm actually so impressed to the point where if this had been how the game had probably launched,
yeah,
it would be my game of the year.
Well, you can still have it as your game of the year if you wanted, because the DLC is
an
big.
expansion technically, and a relaunch and everything, but it's just like I said before, it's the most immersive location in a game I've experienced in years. Years.
Yeah.
Like just when you're walking around, the neon lights, the sounds, the sort of like voiceovers of like the various things in the city going on, etc.
Yeah.
So the whole 2.0 redesign, they completely stripped out, as a lot of you know, the perk system from the old game has kind of been completely thrown out the window. I liked the old perk system. I still like this new system, but I am missing a lot of things that I was able to do in the older perk system currently.
Okay.
And they've obviously given cyberware a complete overhaul. They've given weapons a complete overhaul. The clothing system is basically just there for looks.
Yeah.
Apart from the fact some of the clothing I have actually got on because they give you bonus stats. There are a couple of things that will give you bonus stats. So just for an example, there'll be helmets that'll either give you plus to your armor, plus to your melee resistance, or plus the quick hack upload speed, etc. But it's only certain items of gear that will actually do that. Not everything does. So generally, and it's not like you walk around looking like you've just walked into an Oxfam explosion anymore. You've got all the full on wardrobe stuff. You can deck your character out in whatever clothes you've picked up, and wow, have they added a ton of clothing in this expansion.
Yeah.
Is it just they just throw it at you at the start, don't they?
Yeah.
Like new helmets, new tops, shoes, etc., masks, whatnot. Yeah, I'm loving it though. I've still never finished the main game.
Wow.
So I was like knocking it around about 190 odd hours with the original game. And I thought, like, I'll hold off, and I'll sort of, like, I've just been dipping into it every now and again, but I am the freak that doesn't fast travel. And I will sit and, like, I'm like, oh, I've got 6 hours to kill before this mission, so rather than me go off and wait, I will wander around the city for that time and then head to the location. So I'd use that time to explore and stuff, yeah. Obviously the combat's had a bit of an overhaul as well, hasn't it? You've now got like finishers and stuff with a lot of some of your weapons, etc. And you've now got like almost a final specialty perk, haven't you, for the different skill trees that you can actually map into.
Yes.
Or perk into that can basically kind of give you a specialisation. Or a class specialisation, we shall say. But even now, I've already seen people doing crazy build things with it.
Oh yeah.
So there was a video I watched of someone speeding down the motorway or speeding down the road, and obviously there was a gang fight that was going off because you now get random gang fights going on, and you also will get every now and again cars being pulled over by the police, or there being like a big police firefight with vehicles kicking off in the middle of the city or whatnot, and everything's going to shit. This guy was driving down the street, gang fight was going off to the left, he jumped out of the car while it was still moving, activated like his Sanvestian, or I'm not entirely too sure how he activated it. It's like obviously the spinal cortex upgrade, which enables you to move faster than the enemies.
Mm-hmm.
He bowled out the car while the car's still moving, was just literally ran up behind him, was like shooting him in the head and like pummeling him with like a big blunt melee weapon, which was extending his time in like the bullet mode.
Oh yeah.
Basically killed the last guy, and then ran and jumped back on, got back in his car and carried on going. Like, while the car was still moving.
Like, that's funny as.
So how have you been enjoying it?
Yeah, I've been loving it because I started it again last week, and completely fresh. So the first time I played it, I went Street Kid.
Yeah.
This time I've gone Corpo. And what I quite liked about it is the beginning kind of hour, half an hour to an hour, I can't quite remember the time scale, is completely different because you start off as a different, starting point, kind of a little bit of a different story. So that's cool. And then obviously it's been about 3 years since I played it last, because I got it when it came out and I looked at my achievements on GOG and I'd completed it on like the 23rd of December. In 2020, so obviously it's been a while and my memory is awful. So I started it again, and I'm glad I did, because there's so much of the story I'd forgotten. So it's just good to get back into it like that. I only hit the Phantom Pain portion.
Phantom Liberty.
Phantom Pain. I want to get Phantom Pain from I was thinking of Metal Gear, wasn't I?
Metal Gear.
The Phantom Liberty stuff this morning.
Nice.
So, because you got to do quite a lot of the main story before getting to that bit, because like looking at my latest save, I'm on like 11 hours now, and I've only played a few hours of the...
You pretty much have to get up to the point where you meet the Haitians.
It's basically it's when you meet the Voodoo Boys and do all their missions, then it unlocks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's not too far away from almost the main end, is there? There's not many missions after that point before you hit like kind of the point of no return.
Oh, I can't fucking remember, dude. I really can't remember. I mean, I've not done any of the Pan Am stuff or anything yet, so.
Oh.
Yeah. So. I'm enjoying it because you go into this new. I think it's like a new area of the city that they've put into the game called Dogtown.
Yeah, it's not very big, but it's
quite dense because what I've noticed,
multi levels.
Yeah, because what I noticed is the main game. Because obviously, so the main things I've noticed, because I'm playing on PC, right? So it looks amazing. I've got all my ray tracing on and all that bullshit. And it looks stunning. It looks better than what I remember, and it performs a lot better as well. It's a lot smoother.
I think the new graphics cards came out since the game originally released, didn't it?
I think I've had my 3080 since just before Cyberpunk come out, though. So,
you're not running any of the 40s, the 4080
no,
or the
no,
4090?
No, I'm not made of money, mate. Yeah, so I mean, it looks and it runs well, especially since I've got all the graphics settings turned right up, especially with the ray tracing and that. So I'm very pleased with that. But what I've noticed is, like, the main city in that, like, it runs around 60 to 68 FPS, which is fine, you know. But then Dogtown, like, the performance tanks a little bit. It's running between 50 and 60 for the most part. So, but I think
it's because it's a more condensed area, isn't it, with more NPCs wandering around, etc.
Yeah, it's definitely because it's more condensed. But it looks amazing, like all the lighting and the reflections and just the character models. I'm really liking the story at the minute because basically it's Idris Elba is the main character who's with you throughout the DLC at the minute, or where I'm up to at the minute anyway, and he's really good in it. I think he does well as translating into video games, which is really, really cool. But no, I'm really enjoying it. I've not done a lot of it, but I mean, there's a plane crash. You go and I'm not going to say much about it, but there's basically a plane crash, and you've got to help the person who's crashed in the plane.
It starts really fucking well, doesn't it? It does start with a proper bang when you kind of arrive. There's a nice what the fuck moment. And then all that kicks off, and then there's almost like a mad dash, and then a fight off, and then a pretty interesting boss fight.
Yeah.
Did you pick up a certain item?
I don't know which one, because I did a boss fight and it took me a couple of goes actually. It was like a big spider robot thing.
So after you fight that, it asks you can optionally pick up its power core.
Yeah, I picked that up, yeah. I don't know what it does.
Have you seen what that does? Go into your crafting. You will have the option of crafting, like, I think it's about 3 different items with it, which are mods.
Oh, cool.
Or either, I think it's like, they're all different in their own kind of way. Also, one of them, if you attach it to a weapon, it makes the bullets explosive.
Brilliant. Oh, that sounds awesome. Oh, fantastic.
Because at first I was like, what's this all do? And because obviously, again, that's something else that's completely changed. The crafting system of the game's completely changed now. So, like, you can upgrade all of your guns, and you can also use your crafting materials to also upgrade your cyberware.
Yeah.
The Ripper docks, and you now have like a limit of how much cyberware you can actually have equipped onto your character.
Yeah, there's like a little bar on the right-hand side, isn't there?
Yeah.
And it fills up as you put more on.
Yeah, and you can also pick up items within the world that increase your carry weight and increase the amount of your cyberware capacity, which just give you instant stat boost. Because I noticed as well there was a little kid in Dogtown who sells, like, obviously the hacks, the quick hacks and stuff. If you speak to him, he sells like a unique item that permanently increases your RAM regeneration speed.
Fantastic.
So I think there's going to be a lot of little secrets and stuff in the game,
Yeah, man.
like that as well. But let's say that it was a game that like fully sucked me into the world. It's one of the games I always play with a headset on.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Generally,
So,
just to sort of
yeah.
get into it. They
No.
added obviously all the new music stations as well, haven't they?
Yeah.
3 new music stations
Mhm.
to the
Yeah, they've
game.
done
Did you
quite a lot with
notice
this
that
update,
when
haven't
you
they?
first walked out into the Dogtown Market during the expansion, like one of Idris Elba's songs is actually playing in the
Oh, is
background?
it?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, man. I think they've done a really good job with it because you don't obviously need to buy the expansion pack to just enjoy the
No,
upgrades to the
the
game.
full-on upgrade. Yeah.
So if you've never played it before, now is the perfect time to give it a go.
Oh, absolutely. This is kind of how the game should have launched. As much as I liked the way that some of the things were set out before, I'm perfectly fine with how they've changed it and what's it. It doesn't feel like it's impacted or diluted the gaming experience at all. Like now, actually getting some of the cool outfits and items you want isn't as ridiculous as it used to be. Because before this update, like some of the because obviously the clothing was all tied into your character's armor rather than it being the cyberware and your upgrades. Some of the clothing prices were ridiculous. Like you could be spending like 10 grand or something on a single piece of like clothing, whereas now the clothing's roughly a couple of grand, and that's it. Did you notice as well they've completely changed the way you buy the cars now? You no longer have to drive to the actual car's destination to pick it up. You just access like these computer panels, and a lot of the cars that are actually on these computer panels are actually new ones that they've added as well on top of the older ones.
Yeah, as I was saying, yeah, it is a great time to jump back into it because I say like it's just the performance is great, the actual gameplay is great. I say it's not expensive anymore. And you're right, Darren, in saying that this is how the game should have launched, and I think this is how they wanted it to launch, but they were forced
Yeah, oh,
to
without
put
a
it
doubt,
out in the
without
state
a
that
doubt.
it was in. Because remember when it come out, and a lot of the devs come out and said, "Oh, we didn't actually want it to come out yet, but the suits above made us put it out." You know.
Obviously, again, like one of the other sort of like weird things is I know they're only planned to do the one expansion for this game
Yeah.
because they wanted to move off of the Red Engine
Oh right.
and move on to Unreal. And I'm kind of gutted about that because it's a beautiful looking game.
Oh,
Like,
it's
and
gorgeous.
with
Yeah.
this engine, it's like one of the best. And you can literally go from like one end of the map to the other, in and out of buildings, down into sewers, up and down this, into elevators, up multiple levels, in, out, jump in the car, do this, do that. No fucking loading screens. It's all seamless.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. I think it's a great game, man. It's like super immersive. Um, I love just walking down the streets and just seeing what all the NPCs are up to, like being like bit nerding out, like looking in the reflections in the windows and just kind of just getting immersed because it looks so good as well, and it's just I think they've done like a lot better job now of it just making it feel more lived in, if that makes sense, because there just seems to be a lot more just NPCs just running around or just walking around and doing their daily stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't remember when I
And
played it last time. There's like a GTA style system with the cops now with the stars.
yes, yeah.
Was that in there before? Because I can't
No,
remember.
I think it I know the cops used to turn up, but they just used to spawn out of nowhere. And
Right,
I don't particularly think there was necessarily like a specific star rating for them when they got
right.
higher. Because I know as you get to the higher ranks, you do start getting like people like Max Tack and coming in,
Mm,
which is an interesting thing from the lore because by doing one of the quest lines in the game, you kind of work out that most of the people that work for MaxTac are ex-cyber psychos who have basically been given pardons to basically do the grisly work for the government. So if you remember that very, very early trailer of the like half-naked woman sitting there with the mantis blades like splayed out, she's in the game. She's works for MaxTac now, and she's actually in one of the quests you do.
Ah, that's cool. Nice.
Like as a weird little Easter egg.
Yeah, that's awesome. Nice. Yeah, so Cyberpunk, I'm loving it.
Yeah, so I will say, like, it's kind of, it should be pretty well known that this is almost like the second time the game's had another breath of life. So the game sold really well, regardless of how it was received initially.
Yeah.
Got fixed, kind of, the first time. So we'll say sort of like a couple of patches back. They released, obviously, the Edge Runners anime series, which is fantastic, fits perfectly into that world.
Yeah.
Breathed a ton of people back into the game again, etc. And now they've just relaunched it as the game basically should have been, whacked a new area and everything on it, and there seems to be more people now picking it up who didn't actually pick it up before.
Yeah.
So it's not just people that are coming back to it.
Well, I think they were
people that are like, well, I'll give it a go now.
Yeah, because I think they were doing a bundle. You get the full game and the expansion for, I think it was like 45 quid or something like that.
Yeah, I have seen, I think at the moment on Xbox and on PlayStation, I'm not too sure on Xbox, they were selling the main game like digitally for about 20 odd something pounds, like discount. Yeah. And then like the Phantom Liberty expansion's about 20-25 quid, so you're talking like the price of the main game again, but you get everything.
Yeah. I mean, that game...
Very clever.
Yeah. I mean, that game, though, should never have come out on the last-gen consoles. They should have just said, next-gen only, job done, because I think that's where most of the issues were when it came out.
Oh, that was where a lot of the memes and stuff came from, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, great game, and people should give it another go.
Yes, I think people generally are definitely giving it another go. Even one of my friends, I said, are you going to boot it back up to try out the 2.0? He's like, nah, it's too much effort, mate. I've got to re-download it all again, blah, blah, blah. Then I spoke to him in party chat like a couple of days later, and he was like saying something, and I was like, hang on, what are you playing? He was like, Cyberpunk. I was like, I see. He's like, yeah, fuck off. I was like, what happened? And he said, I started watching Edge Runners again on Netflix, so there we go.
Brilliant.
And they've actually added more Easter eggs to do with that into the game in the 2.0 expansion as well.
Excellent. Cool, man.
So yeah, anyway, we'll sit here for about an hour gushing about that game.
Yeah. I've only played a couple of other games. I'm going to bang them all out in one go because I've not played them much at all. So, been playing some Minecraft with Marcus, which has been a lot of fun. But also I've been watching him play Minecraft Story Mode, which is the Telltale game. And Darren, mate, it's fucking good. I couldn't believe how good it was. The Telltale Minecraft game was like, watching him play, because I was helping him out with, some of the reading and stuff. And it's really good. I was really shocked how good it is. I really enjoyed watching him play that. It's kind of our thing for a week, just playing that.
That's kind of old, isn't it? The Minecraft Telltale.
Yeah, so it came out, I think, about 2016 or something, maybe even earlier than that. So the weird thing is, right, me and the missus has been having a clear out because we've put all our paperwork in to try and emigrate to Oz now. So we're just going through like the garage of what we're going to keep, what we're going to get rid of, sell, and all this bullshit. And I come across a box of like a load of games. And I was like, why are these games in the garage? I normally put all my games in like boxes in the loft. And this box had like a load of PS5 games, PS4 games, and Xbox games in it. And one of the discs in it was Minecraft Stories. And I was like, I don't remember buying this. Why is it here? But then I thought, oh, well, Marcus will like this. And yeah, because it's not on Game Pass or anything. But yeah, it was really, really good because it was one of those episodic ones where, you know, if you buy it digital, you've got to buy all the episodes separately, but the disc had everything on. So, yeah, it's really, really good, man. Really, really good. So, yeah, he's on a little bit of a Minecraft kick at the minute, so, which I don't mind because it's, you know, it's one of those good games you can play with kids, you know, so.
Oh, definitely, you know, it's not going to, like, too dodge.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've been having some fun on that this week. So, yeah, Minecraft, baby. And I know Gavlar's got his own realm, which a few of the people are in, but that's on survival mode, and I'm not really a big fan of survival mode. I'm too impatient. I just like to have everything now so I can just build shit. Don't want to be mining for crap. Can't be arsed. So,
yeah.
Yep. Anything else from you, Dazza?
Not really. Bit of Final Fantasy 14, etc. They're obviously releasing the new expansion, the new patch tomorrow. The 6.5
nice.
hits tomorrow. New story content, new 24-man dungeon, new main story dungeon. Changes to a few PvP bits and bobs, etc. Obviously, the catch-up upgrades for your gear, etc. as well. Okay. I think the Hildebrand and other bits are coming in like the patch that's probably usually about a month or so after this one.
Right. Okay.
So I'm still kind of looking forward to that. So I played it a little bit this morning, and then the servers obviously went down for 24 hours.
Right. Cool, man. Well, apart from that, man, from me, I played a little bit of Switch this week with the kids. We all had a really good game of Mario Party, which I won, and they got really upset about because I don't let them win. I was like, it's Mario Party, it's random, you know. So, but yeah, I won, so they got really upset. But yeah, we don't really play the Switch that often these days. But for like party games like that, you know, there's no other system does it better, right? So, you know, every so often we get a game of Mario Party in, and it's good fun. And apart from that, I've been like my chill out games this week have been American Truck Simulator because I'm a sad bastard. And also been playing Stardew Valley on my Steam Deck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's quite old now, but it's sometimes just quite fun just planting your crops and watering them and watching them grow. You know, so... Because there's been a new one come out called Fae Farm. I was looking at that.
Yes.
I was looking at that and I was like, this ain't no Stardew Valley, so it made me want to play Stardew again.
Like the one on the Switch, isn't it, and stuff?
It's on everything, mate. It's fair. On Xbox, PlayStation, PC, everything. It's 4-player co-op as well. So I was thinking, oh, me and the missus could play that, but I'm not paying like 40 fucking quid per game. Let's play some Stardew Valley, baby. Because I know that urge will go quite quick when these other games come out anyway, so I didn't really want to spend any money, you know. So, yeah, that's literally all I've played, dude.
I've obviously played Fortnite, etc., but no one really wants to hear about that.
Nah, shit, mate. News-wise, though, mate, it's been some interesting news this week, isn't there, regarding PlayStation?
Yeah, I did hear like a couple of bits, but
so
I'm obviously not too sure on it.
Jim Ryan, the head of PlayStation's left.
Good fucking riddance, that's all I can say.
I think a lot of people have said that. So yeah, he left.
He literally came in around the time the PS4 started to go to shit, and in my opinion, like as good as the PS5 is, etc., and as much as I like playing it, it's still lacking severely in like the kind of support and games that it used to have in like the PS3, like early PS4 era.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is due to them completely just throwing a lot of the Japanese stuff that made them the company they were fucking out to dry, and concentrate on like just boring American fucking shite.
Yeah. So yeah, he's left. But the other big news for PlayStation this week is Sony as a whole, not just PlayStation, got hit by a ransomware attack last week.
Oh yeah, I heard this. Yeah.
And the because Sony aren't going to give the ransomware people any money, rumors are that they've got all the personal details of all PlayStation users, and they're going to sell them all online or put them online. So, yay! Wankers, isn't they?
Yeah, well, that sort of thing's been going on before, but to be honest, you'd think they'd have upped their game a little bit from when this got done before.
Yeah.
But even when it happened before and everyone was like, my credit card details, and I'm like, who the fuck puts their credit card details in their console?
Yeah.
Like, that's just common sense to not do that. Like, I get the convenience, but it's a little bit better to be secure and just to just get cards like from like other places. Plus, you can usually get like the credit cheaper than what the actual credit actually is.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I know Shop2 usually sells like PlayStation credit cheaper than what it is. Not by much, but if the more you buy, the better, the more you save, kind of thing.
Yeah. So yeah, some big. So those are the two big bits of PlayStation news, anyway. Knights of the Old Republic. There's meant to be a remake of that. People were worrying this week because the video got taken down. So people thinking, oh no.
I think it's done, mate. No, I think it is literally officially done.
Well, apparently, so I just read today that the reason the video got taken down is because of a licensing issue. For the music.
Of licensing issues, have you got that in there as well? About all of the FIFAs being taken off of the digital storefronts.
Oh, really?
All of them. Because obviously I don't own the FIFA license anymore.
Yes.
So I'm not too sure when that actually comes into fruition. But yeah, there was rumours that it was in trouble, Knights of the Old Republic, because they were gonna fucking modernise it for a modern audience or whatever that crap is. Usually it means we're gonna pussify it because people take offence to literally everything these days. And one of the head people that was behind the story and writing of it was like one of these kind of screechers that would kind of write for someone like Kotaku or something, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm not surprised.
Where you're like, really? So that wouldn't bode well.
No. Oh dear. What I find really odd about the new football game, Peeps was saying last week, wasn't it, about the card pack thing that you get the women and the men all in the same card packs, and it's like, well, you're mixed teams. I just find that a bit odd. You know what I mean?
Video was sort of someone opening the card pack, and it's like, oh, it's a female player. Oh, she's German. And she's called Minge. It's just like, what?
Oh no,
Oh, that's
ridiculous.
unfortunate.
Yeah. It was pretty funny. Oh dear. The other bit of
Yeah, you'd
news.
think.
Oh, gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd think because I think you can in your ultimate team like literally have women and men on the same team.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it?
I can't wait for them to do that in reality. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Like outside of a charity match, I think that'd work out really well. But we
Yeah.
shall see.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. And the other bit of
The
news is that I've got, mate, for you, Coco, on is Counter Strike Go?
oh right, yeah. Is it gone?
It's been renamed to Counter Strike 2, which I don't know why. So it's been renamed to Counter Strike 2, and there has been a few updates to the graphics, etc., but nothing massive. But yeah, just an odd one that it's been renamed to 2. So everyone's playing it again on my Steam list. Yeah, weird. It says Counter Strike 2. It's been renamed and the graphics have been slightly upgraded, etc., etc., and that's about it. So, yeah, man.
One of the sadder pieces of news I did read this week or this past sort of day or so was the artist for Shining Force and Landstalker and a few other games.
Okay.
Yoshitaka Tamaki died.
All right. Oh, sad.
Definitely, and if you obviously start seeing his art style, he just definitely had his own kind of flair when
Okay.
it came to his art and stuff. But yeah, I used to love Shining Force back in the day. Oh, that was one of my favourite games on the old Mega Drive.
Nice. Yeah.
So
That's all my
yeah,
news, man.
I did mention that old the Platinum Games guy left last week, didn't I? The head of Platinum Games,
Oh yes.
Kamiya.
Oh, that is
Hmm.
sad.
Yeah, I think that was due. That was creative differences anyway.
Yeah.
But again, I think this is because creators out there want to create, and you've got a whole load of companies and they're that literally trying to dictate what you can and can't do now.
Yeah.
And I think certain creatives are kind of sick of that, and hopefully we're going to start to see the end of that. To be frank,
Yeah.
because it cracks me up how companies are always shocked when something does really well and is successful
Mm.
because someone actually took a risk and decided to do something different. But yet they'll also try copy and pasting things that are successful over and over again and don't want to take any risks.
Yeah.
It's like you create trends, you don't follow them.
Definitely.
But people seem to have tried just given up on sort of trying to create the next big thing and just sort of trying to just follow the herd.
Mm.
It makes them a ton of money.
Yeah. Yeah, this Counter Strike. I'm just trying to figure out why they've changed the name of it because, I've just jumped on it now quickly just to see if I'm going mad. But it's just, I can't see really any differences at all. I just don't understand the name change. I just find it a bit odd.
Didn't they upgrade the? I think they upgraded the map and a bunch of other stuff in the game, didn't they? And I
Some of the
know that
graphics
things in the
things.
game are still worth a lot of money, sold
Yeah.
on markets, etc.
Yeah, but it's not like anything that's jumping out at me, if that makes sense, That's changed. in the old graphical
And again,
department.
like you look at Counter-Strike, that is a very basic game that's technically running on old hardware because it's a very old game, but it's still super fucking popular, and it's like one of, if not the most competitive shooter on the PC.
It's still the most popular game. Well, one of the most popular games on Steam, that's for sure. It's a great game. I remember playing the first one back in the early 2000s. You know. Yeah, it's still a good game. It's full of fucking Russian hackers now, though. But yeah, it's still good. Well, good, mate. Anything else? Any other news? Anything else?
Not that I can instantly think of off the top of my head. Oh, there was one thing. Obviously, last year a game was coming out. It hit PC early, and then they said that the Xbox version of it, Warhammer Darktide, was going to be releasing towards the end of the year. And then, obviously, the PC launch didn't go particularly well, and they then subsequently sort of like cancelled the release date for the Xbox version to obviously work on it.
Mm-hmm.
Today I got an email through because I pre-ordered it. Got an email through from like the company I pre-ordered it saying your package has just been sent.
What?
And I was like, I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I was like, because obviously my copy of Lies of P got lost in the mail.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I put in a ticket for it to basically say, like, I want a refund because, to be honest, the game's 2 weeks old now, like 2 or 3 weeks old. I'd rather just, I'm not desperate to play it. I'll just hold off and pick it up in the Black Friday for cheap. There's pointless me getting it full price now.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh shit, they've sent me another copy of it instead of the refund. And then I looked to see what had been sent, and I was like, holy shit, it's Darktide. And then literally went onto Twitter about half hour later after I put the message in the group, and there was a post on there saying that it's launching on Wednesday. It's coming out Wednesday.
Oh, right.
And it's obviously a Game Pass game as well, so you'll have a nice Game Pass 4-player co-op Left 4 Dead-ish style game in the Warhammer universe. Have you played it since those early days? Have you gone back to see if it's been polished?
It was because me and Frosty were playing it, and then we just kind of just like fell off it, you know. It is good. I'm hoping it has. I can play with Xbox people from my PC. Nice.
Because I know Vermintide 2 didn't have crossplay, did it? Which is kind of irritating, but.
Yeah,
we shall see. But that's kind of a stealth thing. I heard that they like within the last couple of months that they basically sorted it out and they were hoping to get it released by the end of this year.
Yeah.
But then to literally just have a post, and even when I went to check it and it took me to the page of the game that had been sent, it had like, you know, the thing of like so and so many people are about to buy this, as though like. Mm-hmm. Kind of works out how, and there was a load of people looking at it that were all of a sudden like, holy shit, it's coming out, boy. And just before we started the podcast, it was like your pre-order bonus code is ready as well.
Ooh, so brilliant.
I ended up getting the fucking deluxe thingy edition or whatever it is. It was like only about an extra £5 or something, but it come with a load of extra shite. But I was just like, why not? Because the game isn't like super, it wasn't a full price game anyway, was it? It was like around the 35s, and I think I paid just over 40.
Yeah.
With all these skins and shit.
Yeah.
So I shall have fun with that. I definitely had fun with Vermintide and Vermintide 2, so.
Yeah, man. Oh, so I'm just playing some more Counter-Strike. Gone, sorry.
I was about to say, and with it being on Game Pass, like, even if it isn't cross-play, it's not going to cost you fuck all to just re-download it on Xbox.
Nah, it'll be fine. Yeah.
Or whoever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's a good game, man, so. You just need friends to play it with, you know? So. Friends. So, yeah, just playing a different map on Counter-Strike at the minute, and they've definitely improved, like, some of the guns, some of the scenery and stuff. The way you choose your weapons has changed. It's not on a wheel. I've done a few just quality of life updates and a few graphical updates. So yeah.
Well, speaking of quality of life updates, after you and Peep sat there the other week, basically tearing chunks out of Payday 3.
Yeah, it's fucking shit.
I literally went on the internet, I think it was like a day or so later, and I was looking through like sort of like game reviews, and there was tons of videos of people up like tearing chunks out of Payday 3. Like in quite comedic fashion. I think much to the point where the developer now is actually looking into the fact of like maybe adding a offline mode so people can actually play the game. Because one of the blokes was saying when I was reading the review where he's like, you literally have to queue up in a fucking lobby to play with bots.
Yeah,
and then he was like, and then it was like searching for a game, and it was like no game found, and it's like, well, you can't even find a fucking game with goddamn bots in it that you're supposed to be actually letting me play with. And he said, and when you do get in a game with the bots, they're bloody brain dead.
Yeah, the game sucks ass, man. I'm so disappointed.
How did that happen? I'm still surprised how that happened because Payday 2 was like really well received.
Yeah.
And there's still people I know who love it and still play it.
I don't know, mate.
Every now and again. So it's kind of weird how they managed to like trip over their own laces on this one.
Yeah. Very odd. Oh, have you seen the new thing on Twitter, X, or whatever it's called now?
The live streaming thing.
Yeah, you'll be able to stream games from it. Elon yesterday was live streaming Diablo 4.
Wasn't it? Yeah. The only thing that I find bizarre on that is the fact that I don't know whether it's the same for you, but if I try watching like video clips and trailers and stuff that go up on Twitter, the quality's shocking. Like the sound is all like electronic and stuff, like there's interference and whatnot, and it never used to be like that.
I think it's alright, to be honest. I don't think
it's done that.
That seems okay. Not as good quality as YouTube, but still alright.
Well, YouTube, you've obviously got you choose your resolutions and like all that kind of bits and bobs, but no, I've just had like loads of issues like playing back video files and stuff from X or whatever it is now. To the point where like if I'm trying to show a guy a trailer, I just go like, oh, fuck it, I'm just going to stick it on YouTube.
Yeah,
because like the quality is like proper shocking on the phone for some reason. But yeah, I did see that. That someone had put out that Elon was like streaming Diablo or something.
Don't know how the fuck he gets time, mate, to play games.
I think he's a bit of a gamer anyway. I think he's a bit of a geek. Like he does like his gaming and his like films and his anime and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
he does watch a lot of it. But yeah, obviously you just got to keep an eye on all the business side of it all at the same time, haven't you?
Yeah.
But like when you've obviously got as much money as he can, some of it you can probably just be like, yeah, you just take care of that. I'm just going to do this for a little while.
Yeah.
But everyone needs to cut loose every now and again.
Oh yeah.
I mean, fucking hell, even Hitler used to sit back watching Disney films in his place, didn't he?
Yeah.
While all this shit was hitting the fan, the bastard.
Yeah. Oh, good, mate. Are we, that's probably about it, isn't it?
Pretty much. Can't think of much else, even though we've probably omitted a ton of news.
I looked today, but I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything more from last week at all. No idea.
It's just almost weird that the whole thing about the Sony hack was just like everyone was just like, oh well.
I know.
Like it was like the annual Sony hack happened again. Like,
yeah, the news it wasn't really massive news for some weird reason. If that happened to Xbox, fucking hell, people would be screaming from the rooftops.
Yeah, I think Microsoft have got like pretty good security when it comes to all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
To be honest, whereas like Sony just seem to get, like we say, hacked yearly. If it's not the PlayStation or whatever, it's the actual company itself for obviously film releases, etc.
Yeah.
I still remember one point. Do you remember someone literally hacked in, didn't they? Like, I think it was like around just before COVID, and didn't they leak all of their films online and stuff?
Oh, fucking hell.
Because obviously everything now is stored digitally, isn't it? So you can just literally just jump in and off you go.
Yeah.
Which is got to be worrying that if you could literally go in and go like, oh, we've got your next 6 or 7 blockbuster films just sat here. Yeah, we're just going to throw them all up on loads of different sites.
Yeah.
Thankfully, obviously, in theory, the PlayStation's got its own architecture. But could you imagine if they were like, oh yeah, we've got Spider-Man 2 here, throw that up on the internet,
That'd be
whack it onto a
hilarious.
disc or whatever, and off you go.
Yeah.
So that's it. What else have you got? Like, I can think of. Well, on that, you've got your Forza, you've got your Spider-Man, and your COD.
Alan Wake 2's out in a few weeks as well, isn't it?
I did laugh because whenever I see posts about that, I just see countless posts of people going physical copy ? Like that sort of thing. Is Alone in the Dark still due out around this time of the year, or has that been pushed back? Because it was supposed to be out around.
About it at all.
Because you had that demo, and then they literally sat there, and people were saying, "Oh, you're gonna have a physical copy," and they were like, "Yeah, of course." Like a slight dig at Remedy.
I can't believe Remedy aren't bringing that out on disc, though. I mean, I'm not, I'm all for like the new technology and shit, but to not put a game on a fucking disc like that big, seriously?
Yeah, and you'd also think to yourself, like, even if it's not like a full-on release, you could at least do like a limited, version of it. I mean, hell, even go the weird route of like, oh well, we wanted to keep the costs down, etc., etc. And it's like, well, you just do a disc run, limited disc run. You could charge 70 or 80 quid for it, and people will buy it because it'd be the only way they'd actually want it. And then it's generally going to go to people who kind of want to collect and have the physical version, rather than just everyday Joes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that does seem strange. But there's another game, I think, as well that's coming out that I don't think is getting a physical release. The Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, the sort of updated version of that, I don't think that's getting a physical either. It might in Asia. But again, it's going to be a pain in the arse because if you get those games, especially with it being a fighting game, it's going to have season pass characters and all this other bullshit. And obviously, you can't go out and just buy the DLC for the European one. You've got to go onto the foreign store of the version of the game you have, buy a load of foreign currency, and then buy it through that, and then make sure that profile is still on your system so you can access it with it. It's entering that realm of fucking about, where people shouldn't have to fuck about.
Yeah.
And again, if they're worried it's not going to sell that many copies, don't make that many copies of it, or sell only physical copies through your website. There's games companies that have done that before, where it's like, buy it digitally, it's on such and such a date, or order a physical copy through our own fucking company on the website. Like NIS do that a lot. Like the people beyond like Disgaea, etc. They do that quite a lot.
Yeah.
And then you'll get a game like Ark Knights, which is, I think it's Ark Knights, the sort of weird RPG that came out recently. No, it might not be Ark Knights. It was that weird game that was like touted as being like a dating sim meets action game.
Oh, right. Odd.
Like Japanesey, and it came out for like 25 quid. And that's got a physical copy. So I'm like, hold on a minute. See this cheap game, 25 quid, that's got a physical copy, by some new indie kind of studio. That's got a physical copy. Remedy, you can't do a physical copy of Alan Wake, and Psy Games, you don't want to do a physical copy of Grand Blue. It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
strange when things like that happen, especially like when random games will get a physical release, but yet like popular ones won't. Thankfully, obviously, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, that's getting a physical copy next February, etc. Because they advertised that and showed off like the special edition and limited edition and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And if you buy those, you don't get early access because it's a shit annoying business model.
Mm.
Wasn't there like some stupid rumor I heard a couple of weeks ago as well about like the Phil Spencer saying like, oh, if Game Pass doesn't grow anymore by like 2027, he's stepping down or some shit?
Or something about Xbox stopping the game business or something bizarre.
Well, I don't know if that would be. I mean, technically they wouldn't. They just go out of like the hardware market and they would just make Game Pass kind of a subscription thing for other platforms.
Yeah.
And then Microsoft, this is the other thing that's funny, like where obviously Microsoft have bought all these other companies, even if everything does crumble, they'll still be like, we still own all these companies, so even if they put out all their stuff on all these other platforms, we'll still make all the money from it.
Yeah.
Which is basically what Tencent and stuff have been doing for China for fucking years now.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh yeah, we don't really have these games over here, but what we'll do is we'll release loads of mobile phone games, make a ton of money, and then we'll take all that money we've made and we'll invest it all into Western game companies. So we'll still make money from other people.
Yeah. Knobbers.
Yeah.
Cool, man. All right. I think that's about it then. I think we're done, Darren.
Yeah.
Oh,
How long was that? Hour and a half.
Yeah. I'm sweating like anything in my little room, so.
It's because the weather's been really clamid and humid.
Well, we just had a little. Anyway. We had a thunderstorm not so long ago as well.
All right, we've had rain, but it was literally more like a giant, like blowing a raspberry, like for a couple of minutes.
Mm.
But yeah, I've noticed today it's just been hot and humid. Like even though it is still kind of chilly, but you know when you have that thing where it's like your clothes feel like they're all stuck to you a little bit, and it just feel a bit icky. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that at the minute. So, yes. Yucky.
Wow.
Yucko. All right, mate. Well, that's the end then. So, everybody, thank you for listening. It's been emotional. So, from me, Mark Webb, Gamertag, Piss on ID, Steam ID, Webby360, a G.
And Sensei Switch.
And that's it. So, thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.